Hi, my name's Tara. I'm one of the nutritionists at BioLounge, and I wanted to come on here and share something that I'm excited about from my research and from my work with patients. So, as some of you know, I helped develop the Brain Master class at BioLounge. So, we took a deep dive into the literature to see kind of what does the latest science tell us about what we can do from a diet, lifestyle, supplement, and potentially medication perspective in order to have a really healthy brain as we age, which is a common goal of patients and myself and pretty much everyone I know. So it was really fun to get to kind of dive into the latest science and learn some things and to be able to apply them with patients. So one thing that really stood out to me was one, certain micronutrients are really important for the brain. So the brain needs certain nutrients to function at its best. And so there's a lot of those nutrients that have been identified. But what was new to me is that some of these nutrients really work together in a kind of a synergistic way and sort of amplify the effect when they're optimized at the same time. And so the duo that stands out to me is the combination of B vitamins, particularly B12, and omega-3 fatty acids. So these are the fatty acids that we think about. They're in plant-based sources like chia and flax seeds, and then they're in marine sources. So thinking about our salmon, our sardines, our anchovies, things like that. And these fatty acids are really important for our cell membranes, also to get into the brain and be used by the brain. And they really kind of determine if the cellular environment is more inflammatory or more anti-inflammatory. And so for a while, scientists have known that there is this connection between low B vitamin status and dementia, Alzheimer's, and brain aging. And so that's a connection that has been made. But one of the confusing things was that when we did these intervention trials where we would give people B vitamin supplements, the outcomes were kind of mixed. The benefits weren't as clear cut as maybe we had expected. So, a researcher at Oxford, I think his name is David Smith, did a trial looking at people who had elevated levels of homocysteine. And that's a basically a proxy for B vitamin status. And we know that elevated homocysteine increases your risk of Alzheimer's disease, and also increases brain atrophy. So they, did a clinical trial, and again, the results were kind of mixed. But when they went back and reanalyzed the data, in the participants that had adequate or high levels of omega-3, the B vitamins reduced brain atrophy way more than they did when participants had low levels of omega-3. So there was almost no effect in those that didn't have optimized omega-3. But when both B vitamins and omega-3s were optimized at the same time, it actually reduced brain atrophy by up to 70% in the patients that had elevated homocysteine to begin with. And so this is such a powerful thing to know about. And it has really like reinforced what we do at BioLounge, where we're looking at multiple markers of micronutrients, and we're really not settling until those things are optimized. And our levels and our ranges are really focused on optimal ranges for health span, for chronic disease prevention, not just like the population averages, which are not really correlated with good outcomes. And so we're going to be a little more picky about where we want you to live because we really want you to be as healthy for as long as possible. So this is a really important duo to track. So that's why oftentimes if you come to BioLounge, we're looking at all these different markers. So for B vitamin status, commonly looking at serum folate, serum B12, occasionally MMA, and then homocysteine. So that gives us a more well-rounded sense of how adequate you are. And then I'm really in the habit of also checking your omega-3 index, which looks at how much omega-3 is embedded into the cellular membrane of red blood cells, which gives us a really good sense of how much you're actually incorporating from the diet and are you getting enough to promote that kind of anti-inflammatory cellular environment. And then we can also assume, are you getting enough to really get the DHA, one of the omega-3 parts that's really important for brain health. And so I feel really good about being able to look at these things for folks and make sure that both are optimized so that they can really feel the benefits for their brain and really protect their brain over time. One of the many things that we look at, but I think this one is particularly powerful.